Let's review functions. So in this unit we learned the definition of a function, and a function for every input or x value there is only one output or y value. And so you can test that with the vertical line test. So if we take a look at the first two examples, the first one is a function. It would pass the vertical line test. For every x value, there's only one y value. The second one is not a function because you can see that for a few different values of x, there's two answers. So this would not pass the vertical line test. It's not a function. Let's look at functions in a table. For every input, there should be one output. So every time we see a 3, we should see a 0 for the output. And it looks like, yep, this is a function. For every input, there's only one output. If we take a look at the next one, this also is a function. For every input, there's only one output. Even though 1 and 3 have the same output, that's fine because they're different inputs. Let's look at E and F. E is not a function because 15 has two outputs. F is a function. Even though 3 and 4 have the same output, each one of them only have. Okay, function notation, how to solve. The first two problems you're going to plug in. F of 5 means plug in a 5 and solve. So when x is 5, what's the answer? So we have negative 2 times 5 plus 3. F of 5 equals, this is negative 10 plus 3, which is negative 7. So here's the input 5, the output 7. F of negative 6 is negative 2 times negative 6 plus 3. This would be 12 plus 3, which is 15. So we say when we plug in a negative 6, we get 15 for an answer. Now that's different than C and D. C and D, they give you the output. They want you to find the input. So this is saying the answer is 13, find x. So this is where we use algebra to solve. So here we'll subtract 3 from each side. We get 10 equals negative 2x. Divide each side by negative 2. We get x equals negative 5. For this one, it's saying the answer is negative 17. Solve for x. We'll subtract 3 from each side. We get negative 20 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. We get x equals 10. And you can check your answer by plugging in. So two types of problems. One, they give you x, plug it in, find the output. One, they give you the output, y, plug it in, and use algebra to find x. So that's function notation. All right, let's look at domain and range. So if something's linear, this right here, the domain is what are the possible x values? And you can see with the arrows going in each direction, all values of x will be hit. So this is all real numbers. And same with range. Range is how far up and down does this graph go, and it keeps going forever. So all real numbers. All right, for a parabola, the domain is what values of x will it hit. And again, it's going to be all real numbers because the arrows keep going. It goes all the way to the left and all the way to the right. But the range, there's a minimum, and the minimum is 0, and then it hits everything above 0. So we say y is greater than or equal to 0. So domain all possible x values, range all possible y values. Let's take a look at a cubic, and I should have put arrows on this. All right, so domain is all possible x values, and again here it's all real numbers. And the range is all possible y values, and again with those arrows it keeps going. So again it's all real numbers. Let's take a look at the absolute value function. Again, there should be arrows here. And you can see that the domain is all possible x values, all real numbers. The range here, though, there's a minimum. It's at 0, 0 and everything above. So here we're going to say y is greater than or equal to 0. And the last one, exponential, and then I just made another domain and range. All right, so exponential. The domain, again, there's arrows on each end, so it goes all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So it's all real numbers. And then the range here, it's above 0. It looks like it touches 0, but it actually doesn't. So you're going to say y is greater than 0. Okay. So review domain and range. You can use this note sheet on your tests and your quizzes.